Hi everyone, welcome back. So today's reading, I'm just looking at those of us who got the message about moving, breaking free from narcissistic people, breaking free of toxic situations. That's what the equinox and eclipse window was going to bring in or help facilitate. So now I want to look at how we are moving forward with it. How are we breaking free from toxic situations? Maybe get a timeline, like when we can expect to make the move, whether you're moving cities or just moving out of a toxic situation, moving on from a toxic job, whatever it is. How it's gonna happen. So in case if you're actually moving house, it involves your living situation, or even if it doesn't, it's like involves a lot of things, like for you to actually break free, you need to maybe change jobs, change cities, everything, like a complete overhaul. So that's a really hard thing to accomplish, right, for everyone. And if you're already in a toxic situation, you don't have a support system, things like that, then it becomes so much more harder, right? So in that case, how is it gonna happen? Will you get a new job, which makes it so much easier to take a new job and move to a new city, as opposed to not having a job, or having to quit a job and then not having one at hand but still making the move? Because I am reading for those who are feeling the eclipse energy now, even though technically the eclipse window, because it actually eclipse energy is very prominent in the next 3 months, definitely. So what happens is that if you're feeling jittery, anxious, you can't rest even though you're completely exhausted, you're always on edge, it's because you deep down that you need to make the move, right? But things are still not falling into place, or they are still not in alignment. But you have to make the move. You have to make the changes that eclipse energy kind of threw in your face, like this is not working, it's screaming at you now. You can't take it anymore. You can't stand the people who have been toxic and making things very hard for you. No matter how much you tried to make it work, things kind of blew up. Now that maybe that friction is not there, that this cannot continue. You cannot stay with these people. That's going to affect you, your health, mental health, physical health, all of it. So but then how do you go about it, right? Maybe you are supposed to do something, talk about stuff that happened to you, this, that, but first you still need to break free from the toxic situation first, right? So we'll just look at what exactly is bringing it about, when you can expect things to change. Like the small things are already changing, right? So the moment we realize that this is enough, I'm not gonna put up with it anymore, no more excuses from those people, no matter how much they try, even if they try to sweet talk, even if they make small attempts, because we know that it's not genuine, right? So then when we have finally made up our mind, we have seen the truth, like those are just fake attempts to keep us stuck until they can just do the same thing again. So once you make that, the energy already shifts. Now it's about materializing it in the 3D reality, right? So let's look at when we can expect, how it's gonna come about, all of that. So I'm just gonna pull some cards, 3 cards, and let's see what comes out. Primarily I'm pulling for the timeline, when we can expect a very certain change. Like, yeah, I'm moving out of this house, I'm moving out of this city, I'm leaving this job. When is that gonna be possible? This is for those where this comes with a lot of challenges. So yeah, when we can expect for it to definitely come across. Maybe it can happen earlier, but what would be the latest by when this is possible? Okay, so while I was shuffling, two cards kind of like flipped over, and it was a year from now and get more information. And earlier, when I was just getting ready for the reading, it I came across improve health within a few weeks. And no, the no thing kind of I wasn't sure what it was, but since I was just shuffling, I didn't pay much heed to it. So I hope it's not 1 year because that's a long time. So let's see what the cards actually say. I'm still shuffling. I tend to shuffle until and unless I feel like it's they're ready. So I'll just maybe just concentrate for a minute. Um, okay, this is very weird. I got reconsider, perfect timing, yes, and the situation will improve. I'm not sure why. Okay, let's clarify with some other cards because I really don't understand the reconsider part, but it kind of ties in with the situation will improve part because that kind of says that do not make changes right now. And it says perfect timing and yes. So, with perfect timing. Hi everyone. Sorry, I had to stop the reading midway because, or rather pause it because I got a call. It's actually surprisingly for a job. I do. They're supposed to get back to me, but if you if you go back to a few seconds, I was just talking about how the card said reconsider, perfect timing, yes, and the situation will improve. So I'm not really sure how this plays out, but there's quite a bit of conflicting energies. Maybe whatever you're dealing with can improve because it literally says that. And again, perfect timing. So that again talks about this is the time for change because perfect timing and yes came out. So if you were to make changes right now is the time. But again, there's reconsider and situation. So basically, for those of you, I wouldn't really suggest personally to, if eclipse energy shows you something's not working, you're not supposed to, sit on it. So I'm not sure why the reconsider thing came up, but in some situations, like, again, I really hate bringing personal examples, but I'm called to share. For example, for me, is my living situation is extremely toxic and unsafe as well, and it involves my parents. Now one person is actually a narcissist and a sociopath. The other one is they're also very unaware of how narcissistic manipulation works, even though they themselves claim to have gone through a lot. It's my father basically who I'm talking about, the unaware one. He's equally toxic, where he's a embodiment of toxic masculinity, but despite the pain and the anger that comes through all of that, having your father figure put you through all of that, I cannot overlook the fact that he's also a very spiritually unaware person, because he knows how manipulative my mother is, how he knows, he hid the fact that she was diagnosed as someone with a narcissistic personality disorder, bipolar personality disorder. The only thing that wasn't diagnosed was sociopathy, but that's really hard to diagnose with just one visit, right? One or two visit in your entire lifetime, because no one's going to show a psychiatrist that they are they have those tendencies right away. So obviously that pathology hasn't been diagnosed. But anyone who is I have approached for my trauma has and of course my own studies. I have a background in biosciences, and I was applying for I was trying for PhD, and my area was study was trauma and how it affects us, without giving out much details. So I also had to study a lot of behavioral science. And so there's no denying that my mom is a sociopath, and my father knows it. But here's the thing, he's just unwilling to take responsibility for his actions and how he enables her, things like that. So if there's something like that for you, it can say situation will improve. If it's job situation, like I had actually resigned from a job recently, and that was really toxic, but my boss was again a narcissist, and the higher management, they genuinely are very clueless people. And the thing is, as management, you should have some proficiency in understanding how people work, right? You don't have to be a behavioral science expert, but you should know. But anyways, so even when I provided proof of all the misdeeds and all that, it was just not enough for them apparently. And yeah, they came from ego place. They're like, why should someone even question the management, that sort of thing, even if I was questioning the lower management. So if that is the case, and then it took them months to make small changes, and by the time it was already, I had gone through so much that I had to resign. But they have made small changes to the workplace and all that. So if that is the case, the situation can improve. But again, I, as a reader in good conscience, cannot just say that reconsider. I'm so sorry. Let me pause. I'm getting too many coughs. Just hold on a second. Yeah, I'm so sorry. Every time I sit down to record a reading, something or the other just interrupts. Anyway, so it's clear what I was saying, that if eclipse energy shows something isn't working, you're not supposed to actually make it work. So I'm not sure why the reconsider and situation will improve came across. But it can also mean, like I was actually sharing the fact that I had received a call for a job, that maybe if you are really upset and about the situation, it's just the universe saying that no, things are going to improve, don't worry, and this is the perfect timing for you to leave. Just get things in order, that sort of thing. I don't know why the reconsider part came, but I'm getting some other, I'm just pulling some other cards. Let me just kind of, I'll just pull some other cards, a different deck actually, to look at the timing when we can expect to break free. Maybe that will give a better idea. So as in reconsider making moves right now, but maybe in a few weeks he can do it, right? So that can be something as well, because it's not like you have to be open to interpreting things that way. So let's just see. I'll pull some cards from a different deck and see when we can expect changes to come in. Let me just shuffle the cards quickly and quietly so that I can, concentrate. is basically what is the underlying energy, the current energy, right? So right now, your plans are kind of unsuccessful. If you are, especially if you are really feeling anxious, if you're you know if you're just kind of down and upset about how things are, because you know things need to change, but you're trying, but things are not working. And because eclipse energy kind of takes time to settle also as well. Yeah, it shakes things up, but then the rubble needs to settle for things to change, right? So that's how it kind of is. So that's fine, that's what is the energy right now. As far as when you can expect the changes to happen, one talks about increase your efforts if you want to achieve your goals. So I think that's quite self-explanatory, but if you're really doing a lot, I'm not really sure what this talks about, because like I am doing a lot, literally everything I can. So maybe it's all about more about strategizing and knowing what the right thing would be to do here, as opposed to doing more, right? It's not always more, it's more about making it count, making what you're doing count. So I hope you take that into account as well. November kind of gives you a timeline. This is September when I'm recording the reading. It's September 23rd. So November is where maybe things kind of all work out, and hat, you will be playing a different role. So that kind of says something if you're dealing with something where it's work related, or even like I mentioned, you want to change cities. So you're thinking how will it happen? So maybe you get a different job, and that helps you move out of the toxic living situation, of the toxic and also leave the city itself. Because if you think that not just leaving that situation or that relationship or that place itself is enough, maybe moving cities is very much important. In that case, if you get a job, it makes it so much easier to move, because in some situations, if you're really dealing with not just a toxic situation but a narcissist, they will make sure that there are endless delays and obstacles in your path, right? So if you get a different job, a better job or something, that kind of takes a lot of that like self-explanatory, I'm moving for my job. It's as simple as that. And not to mention, if you have a new job, if you have a better job, it always makes sense, because at the end of the day, finances are a big deal, right? We live in the 3D reality, so we have to admit that. So yeah, this is something. And even if it isn't if it's not about job related or living situation related for you, if the toxicity is completely in a relationship, maybe the dynamics will shift, or maybe, like I said, this reconsider thing is now makes, if you put it all together, all these cards together, that means reconsider as in right now, maybe the things are quite volatile, but by the time it's November, it is going to happen. You just need to strategize better. It is the right time to make the moves. Just strategize better. Don't like, for example, if you know you need to leave a place, a house, a job, a situation, a relationship, don't sleep on it. Do it, because we do have the perfect timing, and yes, and the situation will improve is more like for your sake, like things will get better for you, right? And the reconsider part then becomes like strategize better, work smarter, the boot card, like I mentioned. Strategize better, work smart, do things better, and you have a completely new role things are shifting. So that's the thing, hat. It doesn't just have to be a new, like it says you will be playing a different role. It just doesn't have to be just job. It can be your entire life. In your entire life you're playing a different role, from being a no one wants to be a doormat, but let's say I was never that sort of a person, but I was a very I always had very good boundaries, but sort of I was also a very loving and giving person. So if you're like that, maybe it's your time to not give to people if they don't deserve it. It's as simple as that. So maybe you're stepping into that era of your life where it's fine, people will call you out for that, for having boundaries. And if you always had boundaries and you still gave, and people sort of expected that of you, because they know, oh, she has boundaries, she has confidence, but she's also very giving, and then they're like, oh my god, you've changed. So what, you're allowed to change. Life is all about change. So anyways, that's a new role you'll be playing, right, in your own life. So that's fine. Let's see anything else. Should I actually, I'll just keep this short. Let's it was a good enough message. Let's just one bit of last time message. Let's just get one card to tie everything in. Okay, the card I pulled was Storm. Every hurricane comes to an end. So yeah, this actually, and the bottom of the deck is Princess. You can be your own knight. So this is really, really good message, because what it says is that, every bad situation has its end. It's literally that, the Storm card, and bottom of the deck. So you're coming into this energy that you can be your own knight, right? So this is you just coming into your own empowerment and situation improving. Just be strategic about it. Like don't just, if you're like thinking, if you've been humiliated, if you've been really, if you go through a lot of bad stuff, like not just the relationship not working or the job not working, the thing is, if it's toxic enough where you have been humiliated or abused, things like that, when the dam breaks, when that eclipse energy finally does what it's supposed to do, and it shows you that this cannot work, if you have put in efforts to something for months, years, or even decades, and you're like, no more, this, enough is enough, I can't take this anymore, it's and it actually takes a toll on you physically, mentally, emotionally, it is likely that you'll make a change, right? And you'll be like, no, I'm just leaving, whatever it takes, whatever my losses are, I'm leaving. And while that is very much actually I wouldn't advise against it, because earlier I had done the same thing with my parents. Like, I had broken free from them, and it came at a great loss. And the thing is, here's the problem. I was trying to make that change for a long time, but since like I mentioned, that it was so toxic, narcissists will always try to stop you from moving on or moving away as well, right? And so every effort was thwarted. And so when I got a opportunity, I jumped on it, and it wasn't really the best opportunity, but I jumped on it because I would rather be in a problematic situation elsewhere than take the humiliation and abuse that I was taking here. But it's not like the other place was good for me, and it did come at a lot of other challenges, right? And and my parents also kept there were different types of attacks. They were stalking me, stalking my even my bank accounts and all that, to find out where I was living. I'm just sorry, I am making I don't see it being recorded. Just hold on a second. Sorry, I had to pause in between. For some reason, the recording was not. It wasn't actually getting recorded what I was saying. I'll have to play the message later and then splice it together. So please excuse me if you find random exclamations from my side. It's really hard to splice out one or two words like that. But anyways, back to the message. So I was actually explaining my situation so that you understand that right now I'm not saying that taking rash decisions when it involves toxic energies or toxic situations is not a good advice, because sometimes you literally do have to do that. But my intention for the reading was that it should at least resonate with whoever finds this for at least 50%, given it's a general reading. So since currently this cards the message comes out like, yes, make the change, this is the right time, just be more strategic about it. So I'm not saying that because from my experience, and I think it matters a lot to speak from experience as well, not just what the cards say, that sometimes you do have to make those rash decisions, because at the end of the day they are what they are and they empower you no matter what they do. So, and sometimes that is literally the only way out, because abusers do not make it easy for you to leave, otherwise people would actually, right? And there will always be losses, but right now the universe wants you to know that things will improve. Just if you cannot, it's fine, just make the rash decision, but if you can, be a little bit more strategic, that's all. And sorry about the tongue-tied part. I don't know what's happening in the last 3 readings. Always there is some interruption whenever I'm trying to record. So that's about it. I hope this helps.